guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a fun video that is a collab with a bunch of people here on BookTube. But Sam from Sam Reads a Little kind of organized this, had this idea, and it definitely sounded like a lot of fun. So it is chatting about books that are overhyped, underhyped, and need more hype. Now, I do want to start out by saying I know people have problems with the word hype and how things like can't be overhyped. It's just that you might not have liked it as much as other people. We're using the word hype just because it's easier to chat about these books and the categories they fall under. I'm aware that there are plenty of people who have plenty of different reading preferences. That is totally fine. If you love these books, I didn't. Cool. I'm so happy for you that you love them, but there are two books that I want to talk about that I read because so many people I follow love them, and they are so loved by different social media platforms. One of them especially, I think both actually are, especially because of TikTok, but I also have some authors that I'm like, why do they not have a million more readers? And then I have two that I'm like, I'm so happy they're getting the hype they have because I'm obsessed with them too. So check out everyone's videos. I will try to link down below everybody who's participating. I don't have like the full extensive list, but once everybody posts their videos, I'll have it down below. But the first one I have, so these are two books that I think are overhyped, as in people love them, people are talking about them, they are like doing so well, and I read them and I was not a fan. So they're both books I've read within the past like month, 2 months. The first one is Icebreaker. I feel like this is no surprise. This one I saw blow up everywhere, and it sounded cute. People compared it to the Cutting Edge movies, which I love. They compared it to From Luke Off With Love by Mariana Zapata, which I love. It is a ice skating romance, and I heard it was like Cutting Edge because he's a hockey player and was gonna have to do ice skating with the heroine. Well, I didn't love the heroine. She was pretty unlikable. We know that they had to start sharing a rink because someone sabotaged the hockey rink, so now they have to share. And this book was too long for me. The whole he has to be her partner didn't happen until like 60% in. And I'm like, if that's the premise of the book, why is it happening 60% in? I didn't really care for the fact that like she was the one who wasn't letting this relationship happen. Like that was the only conflict between them, which got really annoying really quickly. And it just was not something I cared about. I didn't care about the characters, I didn't care about the plot, I was just bored, so I DNF'd it. I stopped reading at like 65%. I was determined to finish, but I was not having fun, and I had so many other books that I wanted to read that I was just like, I just need to stop. I'm not gonna enjoy this one. I have talked to a lot of people since reading, and definitely people feel the way I do, while other people do absolutely love this book. So I wasn't a fan. It just wasn't for me. It was not what it set out to be for me, and it was not comparable to the other books that I love that this was compared to. The other one is one I just finished last week, and this one I had very high expectations for because people were obsessed with this all summer long. I've seen people whose reviews I love this book. That is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This one I saw compared to Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, and I know they have kind of similar premises. I read Love in Other Words years ago, so I don't really remember the specifics of that plot, but both of them are dual timelines. They take place in the past when they're teenagers falling in love because they live next to each other like at a lake house, and then in the present when they have to see each other as adults and they reconcile and they address old wounds and things they did to one another and fall in love again. So Every Summer After felt like a young adult romance novel. It felt like 60 or 70% took place in the past, and we got flashbacks between the past and the present. You know, they did something that tore them apart and they have to see each other again because the hero's mom's passed away, and so she is going back to his mom's funeral, and that's when they are reunited. And I wanted an adult romance, and that's not what I got. Almost all of it was young adult, and I feel like because they were teenagers, they made some dumb decisions, and the hero especially was annoying in how things didn't work out between them in the past. And I said it in my video I posted on Monday about reading the Goodreads Choice Awards nominees. I wanted her to be with a brother. And I know Zay from Woody Reads, who's one of my friends, I chatted with her about it, and she's like, same. So are there any of you out there who just wanted her to just leave the hero behind and go be with his brother? Because I would have liked that romance more. Instead, we got not any development between them in the present day, and it felt super rushed, and I was like, I'm not even rooting for you guys to be together. Why are you two the ones that get your HEA in the future when I don't care about your relationship? So it was just fine. Like, it was nothing special. I was pretty bored because I didn't didn't care about reading about teenagers falling in love, and then the adult portion was not engaging enough for me and I didn't care about the romance. So this was another one that I feel like so many people love that I wasn't a fan of. Let's go ahead and go to two books that are worth the hype to me, and these two are two of my favorite authors, and I'm so excited this one author has been getting so much love and attention for this book because I feel like this should have been on the Goodreads Choice Awards. It was a crime that it was not even picked as a nominee, and that is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This book I really, really loved. It is a second chance romance between a divorced couple, and I love the angst that comes with that because of so much history they have together. They are co-parenting, they have two kids together. It does deal with loss of a child, so definitely be aware of that before you go into this book because it's what really caused this breakdown in communication between them. The heroine having to put herself first and her happiness first because she was falling apart and she had to step back and say, like, I need to take care of myself and we're not working. So much emotion in here, and then you see the hero trying to move on and date, and the heroine is like, wait a second, I don't like what I'm seeing here. And I just love that angst where they love each other, but then they are kind of seeing other people, and it gets a little messy, but that is like my favorite trope in a romance book. I really loved the whole part of their children in here because they were a little bit older. They weren't like toddlers, and the daughter I think was in middle school and had a bit of an attitude, especially with the mom, so we're dealing with that. They're co-owning a restaurant together, so they have to be around each other all the time, and it was just so good. Like, Kennedy Ryan writes so much romance and emotion so well, and I love when her romances span years. Give me that angst. Like, Kennedy can do no wrong. This is so worth the hype, and more people need to read it because I've not met a single person who did not like this book because it's that good. The next one I did not realize has 30,000 ratings on Goodreads, and I'm just like, yes. Yes, the average rating is a 4.32 with 30,000 people who have rated this book, which is amazing. That is Jennifer Hartman, Still Beating. I know this is not going to be for everybody because of how dark it is. However, it is one of my favorite tropes. He is engaged to her sister and falls in love with her, and they end up getting kidnapped together. So they have a past. They've known each other since high school. They've always pushed each other's buttons. They don't really get along. She needs a ride somewhere because she's stuck at a bar. I think she lost her purse, so he shows up to drive her home, and they get kidnapped when they're driving home, and they are forced to do unspeakable things together, separately, watching things, and it's really, really hard to read and watch them experience that. It is dark. It is on page. It is a lot. And I want to say it's like 40% of the book. Like, they don't escape for a while. And I mean, they have an HEA. They do escape. Like, they survive and they end up together. This is a romance. But just the emotion they go through, and then having to try to integrate into normal life again after going through something that traumatizing is just so hard. And they know that they are the only ones who really understand what they went through. And so the people in their lives are like pushing them to move on, and they really can't, and then they start connecting and just talking to one another and falling in love. And I need to reread this because I read this in January after everyone told me it was their favorite read of 2021, and I love it. It's one of my favorite books. I really want to reread it and annotate it because the story is just beautiful. Definitely worth the high ratings. I loved it. Like, one of my favorite books. Okay, so and the last two are books that are underhyped that I think need more love. And so the first one is actually an author, and I feel like you guys know how obsessed I am with her, and that is Danielle Allen. So I have 3 of her books. I read a lot of her backlist. I definitely need to read more, and her books are so good. Like, she brings the spice, and she brings the just attraction between these characters that you're like, these people just need to be together already. So my favorite 2 by her are Business Casual and Truth or Dare. Truth or Dare I like could not stop talking about in 2020 or 2021. I don't remember when I read this, but it was either last year or the year before. I read this one this year. Can't stop talking about it. This one is friends to lovers at a wedding, and they have to sneak around because the bride actually wants the hero to be with her sister who's recently divorced, and the heroine is like, but I kind of like him, and she's best friends with the bride. So they gotta sneak around. It is so good. And then talk about tension. This one is an office romance. They meet right before she goes to interview for the job and realizes that he's her boss, even though he already asked her out. And then they're like, well, technically she doesn't start work until tomorrow. So they're like, let's get it out of our systems. Let's like have a fling. And then they can't stay away from each other. And like, she just writes steam so well, tension so well, and I just love these. They both have the kind of like sneaking around vibes going on because they didn't want other people to know, and I need more people to read Danielle Allen. Like, I love her books so much. I'm very nervous to read, I think it's Broken Clocks, because like people are freaking out about the ending of that book, so I have been pushing it off, but I will read it soon. I do have it on audio, so hopefully I can get to that, but highly, highly recommend Danielle Allen because she's amazing. She needs so many more readers because I cannot get enough of her books. And the last one is an author that has been getting a lot more hype lately because of her Christmas book, and I recently read the second book in that series, and now I'm just like, I'm obsessed with you, and that is going to be B.K. Borison, specifically In the Weeds. This book, I love a hero who is obsessed with a heroine, who just wants the best for her, wants to be with her, and wants to make her happy. And so in this one, she's a social media influencer that was visiting the farm in book one, the Christmas tree farm. And this takes place on the farm, but it's not like Christmassy at all. So she is feeling just like uninspired and bogged down being an influencer. And so she decides to go back to the last place she was happy at and just kind of stop posting to social media for a little bit. So she decides to go back to the farm, and she sees our hero who had a fling with her previously, and then I don't remember who left. I think she left, and so it kind of left things awkward, and now she is back in town, and the town is so small town. It's definitely a small town romance where they all work together to push them together. So they're like, oh look, there's no room for you to stay. You gotta stay with the hero. She ends up staying in an extra room at his house, so they end up kind of being roommates, and it is so good. Oh my gosh, just the quotes I kept on writing down on my phone just because I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Oh my gosh, I love this. Like, it is so sweet. And like, he is really scared that she's just gonna leave again, and she doesn't know what she's doing with her life. She's like, I have all this stuff I'm supposed to do, but she is so happy where she is. So very cute, and I love all the meddling characters. It was adorable. Definitely pick this up. Definitely pick up B.K. Borison because she's amazing, and I'm excited to read book 3. Like, Love Light Farms is getting hype, and that's for a good reason, but like also continue the series because this is amazing. And those are the books I want to chat about that are underhyped, overhyped, and need more hype. Check out everyone else's video. I'm very excited to see what they have to say and if we have anything similar or completely different. I can't wait. That's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.